this is Cherie. Welcome to Let's Get Unleashed. I am really, really excited about this episode. We're going to be talking about dating after divorce. Now, many of you who have known me know that I was married before, so I know exactly what that is like when it comes to dating. And I'm super excited to have a really good friend of mine from Slovakia, and her name is Petra Belabatova. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say that again. Her name is Petra Belapotopska. I've been practicing that, Belapotopska. And I can't wait for you to meet her. And we're going to talk about some of the challenges that she's currently going through getting back into dating field. Let's get into it.
Hi, Cherie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
Hello,
great.
Petra. How can I help?
Okay.
I didn't realize we had a third guest with us. Well, whoever that is, welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Get Unleashed. Listen,
That was my Siri. I am not sure why he is getting in there.
listen, this is live and anything can happen. But did I get your name right? Did I do it? Did I do it right?
Yes, yes, you did.
Bella Batowska. I'm really excited about that. What time is it where you are?
It's actually midnight. It's like a Cinderella story.
Oh, you look amazing for it to be midnight. Let me tell you, I would have my head
Thank
wrap
you.
on and I would be looking like somebody's grandma right now. So you look fantastic. So I want to just read Petra's bio. I want to introduce you all to her. So Petra is an associated certified coach, and she is accredited by the International Coaching Federation. ICF is a very popular acronym for that. She specializes in innovation and entrepreneurship. She has recently added sleep, recovery, and stress management to her coaching certifications, as well as a large array of other coaching styles that she provides. She loves animals and has three adorable chihuahuas, whom she calls Team Diversity. I love that. In addition to her coaching work, she supports other coaches around their businesses. Coaching has changed her life. So now she is helping people and other coaches change theirs. Oh, that is awesome. And I just want to share that I met Petra not because I traveled to Russia, but because that she and I share a client. And through working together, we become very close, right? And we decided to just kind of help each other out in addition to working with our clients and kind of like coaching each other. And she's teaching me and I'm teaching her, and we are just really fast friends. And during one of our actual sessions together, we started talking about dating. And Petra, really, I want you to just kind of share your story about, how we even came about this topic, because it was really you who pushed me to switch my podcast a little bit into relationships. So let's talk a little bit about that. So why are we here today?
So actually, you are very right when you say that we like kind of fast forward being friends because when we've been working together, we always had like a really good vibe and we've been like connecting to each other. But just after we started to work together and we kind of started to share our stories, I really seen value in what you are saying. And I was like, you got your husband because you've been praying for him. And I heard you say, how you basically wished everything about him and it came true.
Yeah,
So I was very interested in that. I mean, who wouldn't want their dream husband or dream boyfriend or partner?
right.
So, and I was struggling a little. So I started to share it with you. And I was struggling because it's not even that I am not getting what I want, but I'm actually not even asking or giving chance. And then we started to talk about that I'm kind of just so used to not getting that I don't expect it anymore. So how I'm supposed to get it if I don't even give a space for it?
Yeah, that happens a lot with us. Especially as women, we give so much. We're so used to just giving, giving, giving. Oftentimes we can't even accept a compliment, right? Someone says a compliment, they're like, oh, this old thing or whatever. No, receive the compliment, feel that it's okay to be to be the one in the center of attention. That's okay every now and then. But you make a really good point. I remember where I started praying for my husband. I was coming off divorce, being divorced. I had been divorced for a few years, and I was starting to realize that I wanted to be married again. I mean, that's just who I am. But there was a time that I didn't. I said, I'm never going to get married again. I don't want to be bothered. And then when I asked God for my husband, I was very specific. And I think we talked about that. I mean, everything, this is very personal. This is your prayer. You know, you don't have to share that with anyone. Remember, I didn't ask you to share anything of those things with me. It's very personal. And you have to get down to the nitty gritty of things. I mean, physicalities, their work ethic, their breath. I mean, everything, sex life. I mean, everything. Are they outgoing? Are they a man of God? Do they love their parents? Are they good with children? Whatever the things that mean to you, that's exactly what you have to ask for. And then, once you make that prayer, then you just have to believe that it's coming and you accept nothing less. But one of the things I found interesting with you was that there's somebody that you're interested in.
Yeah. So I know him for a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not quite getting what I need to get from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I, been starting to think about the dating in general,
Right.
because I remember how how I mentioned that I would want them to open me my door, like from car or to restaurant. And you told me that I wait until it doesn't happen. And still, even now, reflecting on that, I have to laugh because I imagine myself sitting in the car and not opening. And honestly, that was like the best advice you have given me, because when I ask you, like, what then? Like, if he doesn't return, I mean, obviously, that's like wasted date. I'm not going anymore. But like, how do I react? And you said that you just tell him that you are the kind of lady that needs her doors open, like that I don't open my own doors. And
Yeah.
then I started to reflect on general in dating, like that, not just me, but I know from my friends and just observing women, we settle for less
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny. We have to force ourselves to get the love that we desire
Mm.
because oftentimes, like you said, we have allowed and accepted less for a variety of reasons. Either we feel like we don't deserve less, or maybe we were never shown less. We don't know what that was. Maybe we still have scars from our previous relationships and that's the other thing too. It's before you get into anything new, it is so important that you completely heal first.
Mm.
You completely heal first. Even though they're in a relationship, there could have been one person who was a little bit more at fault than the other. It does take two people.
Yeah.
And during that healing process, it's important to know that what your role was, what your role was in all of that. But no, you're absolutely right. In terms of like the chivalry, and if you never had those things before, it might feel foreign to you. But I remember we were talking about, you said, Cherie, how long do I sit in the car? And I
Yeah.
said, well, if he hasn't noticed that you're not behind him, well, then you just get out the car, get a cab, and go home. I mean, like, what are you waiting for? But anybody should stop and say, "Oh, she's not behind me," and come back and at least check on you. Something happened? Is anything wrong? And remember, I told you it's really important that you don't have an attitude about it. You just sit there, just as beautiful and feminine as you are, and just say, "Oh, I was just waiting for you to open my door." And from that moment on, he has to figure it out. You
Yeah.
know, he has to figure out, well, what he's going to do. I want to talk about too, when we talked about what you were going to wear on your date. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I was like, because obviously I am in a way a leadership coach, let's say it like that, and I work a lot with the coaches that are alike,
Mhm.
and also in my community and everywhere I always kind of, it happens, I just get the leadership position, which I like. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like it.
You're a
But
boss. You're a
yeah,
boss.
yeah, I'm boss lady and I love it. But in the relationship, I would want my man to be a man. And I don't mean it now like, in any way as modern reality really perceives saying that. In
Mm-hmm.
more of like, he has to have his voice. Like he has to be able to tell what he wants, what he would like us to do, where he gonna take us. So I can actually take a break from being in charge all the time, that I know that I can lean on him. So, and I know that when I went on the date that we've been talking about, that I was just like testing the waters. I was like, I can wear something, to show that I'm a boss lady, kind of. And I remember, I still remember your face, how you looked at me like, no, 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 no.
I'm like, we're not doing that, girl. We are not
Yeah,
doing that at all, you know. But it's funny because we are talking about dating after divorce, right? And so you're a different person now, you know.
yeah,
And so now you have this flourishing career, and you are definitely a boss lady. I mean, for sure. But why don't you tell them why I told you not to? Well, tell them what you were going to wear. You were going to wear this corporate suit, and you were
yeah,
going to
pretty
just
much.
like what did I say to you?
Um, I can't paraphrase it anymore, but just I remember what stuck with me. Just wear something that makes you feel beautiful and you feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Something that, makes you happy and brings you joy. So I actually usually don't wear pink, but I did get like a really lovely pink sweater from my aunt. So I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I think I'm gonna wear that. That's like, that brings me joy.
Yeah, we have to learn how to date again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, tell me, how are you feeling about even thinking about going on dating? Because we have to practice. We're out of practice.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, although I am, in a good relationship with my ex-husband, and I don't have any, bad feelings or anything towards him, but obviously it didn't happen from day to day. So obviously there was no more dating with him. There was not going out. There was me alone. And then when I returned, I had because I moved actually to Switzerland for my husband, and then I came back to Slovakia, and there was a lot with my family, and everything had a priority. So I, I, as I like to say, I put all my ducks in a line. So I fixed my career, I fixed my life, I got an apartment and everything, and I'm like, okay, now where is the man?
Right, right,
so,
right, right,
so,
right.
but even just going for a date, just to actually try for dating, not to see him as potential partner, was really scary for me, because I was like, what do you do? Like, what do you talk about? Like, what is cool now? Because I remember when, before I was dating, you've been kind of in it. So you've been always dating or looking
Mhm.
or going out and everything. So you knew how to behave. But now I'm like, how do you do that? And how do you, even like, I remember one thing that I was super like, that is super different now. I don't want to invite the guy for a date anymore. And I told you about that.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I was exactly the boss lady in the relationship too. I would always ask for the date. I would get what I want,
Mhm,
basically.
mhm,
But
mhm.
I don't want that anymore, because obviously, doing the same thing will just invite the same man.
No, and that's wow, that's really profound, because the fact that you identify that, and I know you and I, we've been talking a little bit about some of the do's and the don'ts, and we're different women. I mean, I know that there's, we're from different decades or what have you, but yet and still, we're not the same person that we were in our 20s or 30s or what have you, and our needs are different. Our needs should be different. We should want things as we go through experiences. We should definitely know what we don't want, right? And so, yeah, if now chivalry is important to you, for them opening doors is important for you, for them to now initiate the date is important for you, then that's what you do. I remember you were telling me about the construction worker guy. You want to talk
Yeah.
about that a
Yeah.
little bit? Yeah. And
Yeah.
you were flirting a little bit with him, and that's great because we have to let our feminine energy out, especially that we operate oftentimes in a lot of our masculine energy, being bosses. There's so much that we have to oversee, and cloaks that we have to put on depending on the situation. But when you're in a relationship and you want him to lead, we have to be soft and pink. Remember, I told you, I
Yeah.
said, I want you to just be feminine. I want you to be beautiful. So just to share a little bit about this guy she wanted to date with, this her sister set them up.
Yeah.
She wasn't really feeling him so much, but I kind of pushed her to go on the date because, like I said, we have to practice. And we have to get used to having male energy around us. And who are we now in this new situation? You want to make sure that you're not bringing forth the woman that was married to your ex-husband. Who is this new fantastic woman? And we're not going to wear a corporate suit, and we're not going to interview this guy because no guy's going to find that sexy. He's sitting there being interviewed. No one's going to find that sexy. Just be yourself. And I tell women all the time that who you are is going to shine through regardless. Your intelligence is going to shine through when you start talking about work, because if he asks you, you are going to share who you are, but you still want to be a female, you want to be a woman. And we also too, we got to make these guys work. They have got to earn any bonuses. And
Yeah.
bonuses, and I'm not talking about the heavy duty stuff. I'm not even going there. I'm talking about before they can even step foot into your home. Remember we had that conversation?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
actually have an update about that too.
Oh,
But I
let
go a
me drink
little
my
back.
tea. Hold on. Let me get a sip of my tea.
Yeah. I have a collagen drink for a special occasion.
Well, there you go. There we go.
Yeah. So, firstly, I want to go back to what you said, the corporate suit. I was watching a rom-com where there was like a lady and she would pull out this checklist, and if he wouldn't check the box, she would just like leave the date. So that's kind of how I was feeling about, dating men. I was like, I need a checklist and they need to check all the boxes.
Right, right.
And so I did go to date with that guy and everything. And then we've been talking, like he asked for a second date, but he was like too lazy to be creative, and he was like how about we just go to your place. I was like, well, no, we don't, like you have to earn it. And besides that, I promised my bestie that I'm not gonna invite you in until you deserve it. So
Good for you.
because yeah, because sometimes, although I'm like very aware of what I want and what I don't want, that I don't want to invite him because, firstly, I'm not that interested, and secondly, he didn't earn it, as you said. And I think that is something that I am very faulty of, even now, is allowing to people to, be where they are, where they didn't earn it yet. And
Yeah.
so I think that, you know, inviting to my space, just like generally, not into my apartment or anything, just to my space, like you have to earn the date with me now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're the prize.
Yeah,
And the only way that men are going to see us that way is how we present ourselves. And I'm not saying that we have to be stuck up. I'm not saying that we have to be unapproachable. I'm not saying any of those things, but there's standards. And you mentioned the women having a checklist. And
yeah,
even though I don't necessarily agree with a checklist per se, there are standards. And there
definitely.
are certain standards that we must insist happen. And only you can create those standards for yourself. If opening the door is one of them, asking me out, taking me out before, or whatever your criteria is, you have to stand up to that. But it's important that, and I had to learn this because I was out here and traveling and doing all types of things, and I'm like, if I want to go out with somebody, I'm going to go out with them on my terms. But I wasn't getting quality. I wasn't getting the quality that I was giving. Because as girls, as women, we go all in. We can cook a meal. We're doing chores for them. We're helping them with their resumes, and all of these things, and what are they doing for us? They're just laying up, eating our food, watching our TV, and getting whatever other bonuses we choose to give them, right? But no, no, no. They have to earn those things. They definitely have to earn those things. And you can take me to a coffee shop. You don't have to come into my home and have coffee. Let's go out.
Mhm.
You have to, let's, you got to put some work in, bro. You got to put some work
Yeah.
in, So, how are you feeling? So, I know you went on one date and I know you've been flirting with somebody else, but how are you feeling after being divorced? How long were you married, Petra?
I was married for 7 years, almost eight. And because of the technicalities of like the divorce and everything, how it ran down, basically just now finalizing all the paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure everybody is wondering, I'm over here in America, I'm in California, and you're way over there in Russia. So what's like a really good date? Like, what would be your ideal date where you are?
So, in my culture, I suppose it's mostly inviting to restaurant or cinema. So it's like, or it used to be. I actually, as I said, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. I know that the like adults and so are more so invited for like coffee or just somewhere in like to get like dessert or something. So it's more of like I feel like the dates when I was young was like aiming to be as long as possible, like glass in the cinema and then have a chat after and before and getting picked up and everything. And nowadays is like, I think the adult dating, or at least how I am perceiving it, is like the quick turnaround. Like, let's go for coffee, and if I can't last longer than the coffee, I'm out.
Yeah, that's definitely how it is here. I remember when I was out here dating and I was doing the online thing, coffee was all I was willing to tolerate in the beginning. Because the worst thing you want to do is sit across from somebody for 45 minutes potentially for dinner and you absolutely cannot stand them. You don't have anything in common. Like, that's torture, and I have done that. So it's always great, when you haven't dated in a while, to just do a quick coffee date, and just see if you vibe. And I have a friend. She's like 30 minutes, I'm in and out, like that quick. But it's kind of a way for you to gauge 45 minutes max. But then if you want to hang out and you continue to talk and you're vibing, I mean, 45 minutes can turn into 2 hours at a coffee shop, or maybe take a walk in the park. But at least you have that meter where you're just like, okay, 30 minutes is good enough. All right, this is not going to work out for us. Have a good life.
Yeah.
you know, have
Yeah.
a good life. What would be your dream date?
Oh, probably go watching the stars. I am
Ooh,
absolutely starstruck. I love stars. So if anybody could be that creative, but also I understand that wouldn't be probably the first date,
no,
because they would have to know me and everything, because like I would probably also think he's a little crazy if he would say like let's watch stars together like on the first date.
right.
But that would be definitely my dream day, just even going to, not necessarily to anywhere special, just to go somewhere where it's quiet and where you can see like the entire sky and talk through the entire night. So I think that's my dream date.
So I remember when I was dating and I was ready to date. So how do you know that you're ready to date? How do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not even still sure if I'm ready to date, but I'm like, I noticed that I think it's the opposite sex or like the other people that kind of show you that you are ready for dating, because, you are starting to give the signals like, okay, I am perhaps open for other chance. As you mentioned, the constructor worker that was like taking care of the building that was built here, that I moved into, with him we would always have like such an exchange. And at first I was like, that's normal. That's like his customer service being like really
Right, right,
nice.
right.
And I became a really good friend with my neighbor, and she was like, I speak like barely one word with him. Like when I was like, oh really? Like he always hangs there for like an hour and tells me like what the things are and how is it going and everything. So that got me, a little curious. And then, also as you said, my sister kept trying to make me on the date with that guy, and he kept being like, I should invite him, I should invite him. Then I remember after like half a year I got mad and I told my sister, if he can't invite me, then he should not mention my name anymore. And I think that's when I realized that I am ready, but I am ready in a way where I want to be invited, not where I need to look for the person.
Yeah, you're at a point where you want to be cherished,
Yeah,
and listen, grandmas will always tell you the man has to love you just a little bit more. Sorry, guys, if you're out here listening, I'm sorry. I'm telling some secrets, close your ears or what have you, but it is the truth. They need to work a little harder and they need to love you just a little bit more. Because the thing is, like I said, as women, we give 125%. We give everything. And so they have to just work just a little bit harder and being creative and show you that you are their prize. A lot of times we look at men and they say that they want a woman who compliments them. They want someone who, when they see him and they see her, oh, what a beautiful couple they are, right? But we want men to compliment us too.
yeah,
We have needs too, and it's at a time where we have to put ourselves to the forefront because we are going to serve our men. We are going to be there. We are going to let them lead. We are going to put them the head of the household, but we also want to make sure that they are filling in some of the gaps for us as well.
absolutely.
That's important. But I wanted to ask you about something. We and I'm hopefully not getting too personal, but when you are ready to date, man, I know in my experience, all the old boyfriends start coming out the woodwork. And I'm not going to say what I told you. My little thing is I can't say that on. I can't say that. But if my girls are out there, D smells D. I'm just all I'm going to say. But has anybody hit you up since you started dating, or even put your energy out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think like it's like it, in a way it was a little bit crazy because suddenly everybody is trying, like the ex-boyfriends or the people that been like interested, but I showed no interest. So suddenly, everyone wants to date with me, or everybody wants my attention. And
Get
yeah,
it, girl?
so yeah, so since I separated with my husband, I had somebody I love very dearly, and that I still do, but he wasn't giving me what I needed.
Mhm.
So I basically put my terms down, and if not that, I gonna test waters and open new relationships, be open to new relationships, be it friendship or and what have you, what it ends. And he was like, he was the first one to come back and to really give me what I was asking for before. But to be fair, when it started, I started to ask myself like, why now? Like,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's a tough one.
yeah,
When you love somebody and it's just not right, it doesn't mean that you just stop loving them.
yeah,
You're choosing to say, I deserve more. And
yeah,
it could be really difficult, when someone says to you, I don't know why you even love this person. That's unfair. We can't tell somebody else how to love. We can help them figure out their worth and say, you deserve better. And that's the thing, too, is like really taking the time to acknowledge that you deserve more. We don't have to settle for things. We can get everything that we want, but we have to wait for it. We have to wait
yeah,
for it to present ourselves. And each and every time that we reject the thing that's not good for us, it brings us closer to the thing that is. And that takes some
yeah,
time. It's not easy because depending on where you are in your life or what you want, or if you want to have children of your particular age, or whatever that is, there could be some urgency. I don't want to use the word desperation, but there could be some urgency in things, and we tend to overlook the things that we should not be overlooking.
Yeah.
Because the thing you see today, you're going to see it again in 10 years, and one day you're going to say, he showed me that back then. And I chose to look at him through rose colored glasses. And I didn't like it back then, but because I wanted to have someone, I ignored it. We don't have time to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It is time for us to get exactly, what we want. But, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with, I'm going to put myself out there now, okay? And I'm getting used to, meeting new people. But then you have somebody from your past who you're so connected with, and they're trying to get back in. Like, how do you deal with that struggle?
You know, I just let the emotions go. So I was crying a little, I was dealing with it, and I started to name the emotions. Like I realized, like, that it's okay. Like, he had many chances, and it's not like, as I told you, that I didn't burn the bridge. I am
Hmm.
just like having my boundaries now, and I am the most important person for me now.
Yeah, no, that is so key. I remember one of the men that I was dating before I met my now husband, and he wasn't for me. I think I shared this story with you. He wasn't for me at all, and I knew that from the jump. I didn't have any expectations as past what he showed me, but there were pockets, and this is important. There were pockets of things that he gave me that I was desperately needing and in search of. It was to be held. I hadn't been held for a long time, so this was this big strong guy, and I'm a tall woman. I'm 5'9". So for all my tall girls out there, what I'm about to say is that we want to feel small too. And it's hard for us sometimes to even be perceived as someone who is delicate because of our stature, right? And don't be a boss. Like you said, don't be someone who is either, a professional or has their own business or even carries themselves with confidence. Then we get pushed further down. And so this was this big, strong guy, and I could feel small in him. And when he would hold me, I was like a China doll. And he had no idea how important that was for me. Okay. He was still who he was, and which wasn't great for me. But it was those moments, if I was walking across the street and he would hold my hand, I just felt so special and so feminine. And when we broke up, and it happened really quickly, I mean, within 6, 9 weeks, he was done. He showed me who he was, and I was really cognizant and paying attention. I'm like, I'm not going to go
Mhm.
through this anymore. But I would never forget, I was traveling, and I was in California, and I cried all the way home on the plane. I just cried, like my heart was broken, and I had a really hard time. And my best friend kept asking me, and she said, "Hey, Shay, I'm talking about." And she said, "Why are you crying over him? This guy was a loser. Like, I don't understand why you're crying over him." And I said, "It's not him.
Mm.
I'm not crying over him. I'm crying over what I want so bad, and he didn't have it. I'm crying over the fact that I felt what I wanted for a short period of time, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't have the whole thing. That's why I was crying." And then once I got over it, I got myself busy and traveled, and I met my husband, and life is different. But we have to be. What I learned in that was I learned what I really needed. And so as you're going through, I tell you those stories, that as you're going through dating, after divorce, it's your time to build a bear. It's your time to build a man. It's your time to say, this is the things that I want. And do you remember? I want you to share with everybody what I told you to do about writing everything down.
Yeah, so you told me to write a love letter from future for myself.
Yeah.
And I still didn't do that because you told me to not rush it,
Right.
because everybody who knows me is like, I need to execute right away, like, and I have to like keep perfecting. But you told me to take my time to really think about it, to really feel it out,
Mhm.
to, change my mind and to think more about it and in different, day. So that's what I am doing. I am actually trying to take my time with it, which is in itself really hard for me because I'm not very patient person. But that's like one of the lessons you definitely taught me. The other one was, yeah, like, you know wait for what you need, just don't take it.
Yeah.
Then don't let the men earn it.
Yeah.
But there is other thing that you taught me that I definitely want to get out there for, like, those that not necessarily just divorce but those looking for dating again, is when you told me to not invite them for the date but invite them to go with you. That how important is the difference, that I don't just invite him for date just to come along, because
Mhm.
it's a big difference, for those that would like to take some charge or show some interest, for those folks out there.
Yeah, yeah. So, when you're used to initiating dates, and I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with a woman, making the first move. I really don't have, I really, whatever you want to do. But because of your demographic, because it was so easy for him to just, come to your place and it's too convenient. We can't
Yeah,
make things too convenient for men.
yeah,
And so, as for you to not come off too strong, it's just like, hey, I'm going to grab a coffee. You want to go? You want to join me? That
yeah,
takes the pressure off. That's not necessarily a date per se. That's just two people who are cordial with each other, walking together to get coffee. And who knows what could happen from that? But that's an easy way of initiating, but not initiating a
yeah,
date. Hey, I'm going to
yeah,
grab a coffee. You want to come with? Just that simple. And if he says no or he can or whatever, he can actually get, say, tell the truth. Oh, I can't. I got to run back, as opposed to, do you have time to sit down with me to have coffee? Then it's like, you know, so yeah, I used to use that one a lot. Yeah, you
yeah,
want to come with me and grab a cup of coffee or whatever. And that way you can actually talk while you're walking, and but dating, this, you're in a really great space. I'm really excited for you. I know it might be a little scary, but you're in a really great space. I hope you're excited about it.
yeah. I definitely am. I'm excited because of me, not even in, in the end. Right now I'm in a space where it doesn't matter if there will be that guy or not, but it's that I am, sticking with the boundaries and what I want and need for myself, instead of, as you said, seeing the glimpses and resemblance of what I want and going after it. So I don't feel, as we talk about, desperate for it.
Yeah.
I am trying and starting to understand my worth, and I know that I deserve more than, you know, that I was getting.
I'm really excited for you. I'm really proud of you. You're very courageous to do this. And you know what, Petra? Have fun. Have fun with this. Just go out, let people shower you with attention, be feminine, be girly, because everything else is going to come to the forefront because you are smart and you are all those things. So I'm not saying to pretend to be goofy. I'm not saying that. But I mean, I just want you to just enjoy it. And those guys you go out with and you don't like them, that's okay. That's fine. But when you like somebody, it's just like, this was nice. I have a friend rather, and she would do the online dating for a while. And she was like, I don't take anybody seriously until I need to. And that was the best advice in terms of dating. I hate
Mm,
online dating, by the way. I cannot stand it. Thank God that I didn't have to go through that very long. But you can have some, just keep swiping, just keep swiping, you know?
yeah.
Petra, this has been also, I really, really did enjoy our conversation. Thank you for being so open and just willing to kind of share some of your personal stuff. And I hope you'll come back and join me.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. It was really exciting. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. With those of you who are watching, thank you for watching Let's Get Unleashed. And if you are dating after divorce, Go out there and have fun. Don't give it away too soon, and make them work for it. All right, I will talk to you next time, and talk to you soon. Let's get unleashed. Bye.
Bye.